Hey guys, Dylan from the Geek Duo here, and today I'll be bringing you my reaction to Shadowhunters Season 2, Episode 3, titled Parabatai Lost. When Alec's life is in jeopardy, Jace rushes to save his Parabatai, while forces in both the Shadow and Mundane world rise against the warriors. So I'm assuming that, well, based on that description and everything, this is going to be an Alec and Jace centered episode because Jace needs to save Alec's life, which, yeah, probably gonna be through Parabatai bond and all of that because that is way too much to explain. I don't think the show is done. To be fair, the book at this point hadn't done anything to really explain it. It's basically some a biblical thing where you are closer than my brother. My soul is linked with yours. They literally link their own souls. That is why they are so close. Why they can basically move as one. Basically, almost read each other's minds. Is because their soul are intrinsically linked through the roots. And that is why runes put on by a Parabatai are so much stronger because of that link. It's basically powered by twice the soul power that could normally be channeled through a Stele rune. Yeah. So they're probably going to delve into the more metaphysical side of that in this episode. That is the right word, yeah? Metaphysical. Well, that doesn't help me. Metaphysical. Relating to metaphysics. That does not help me. But yeah. And as for the Shadow and Mundane world, well, obviously the Shadow world is going to be Valentine's army, and probably Downworlders who aren't happy with the way that the Clave are handling things. But how are the Mundane world going to rise against the Warriors? The Mundane world shouldn't even know about the Warriors. I'm assuming that the Warriors means Shadowhunters and that. Like, the good ones. Interesting. I guess we'll find out in 3, 2, 1, go. Also, is Gretel alive or are we meant to assume she's dead? Because she was still alive when she was tossed off the boat. It's always funny in things like that when it's like, stay close to the surface, and the first thing they do is delve way too deep. Also, what's going to happen with Dot? Because she was recaptured by Valentine, I guess. Oh, that's a familiar quiver. Yeah, Jace never really was a archery kind of guy. immediately jumping into... Probably not. Because Alex is the one who... I'm guessing that's a yes. I'm guessing that's what the mundane is. So where exactly did she wash up if she wasn't anywhere near Jace? Maybe try calling him at night. You might have a better chance at... Beate Belcosi. Happy Warriors. Hmm. I mean... His comments have grounds in fact. You know about that, do you? No, you can't. You put out the dead or alive. Hmm. The rune would have bled out. So this is where I thought it was. I forget what this is called. Oh, Shizmire. Yeah, I guess that fits the description. Hunter's Moon, that's it. So is Tato standing in for Bat? Because it seems like a role that would be good for him. Because Jace did get into a fight in the Hunter's Moon. Book 2, maybe? Pretty sure Magnus was there and he called up to, he called Clary on that. So I'm fairly sure I know what was in the box, but I'm not going to say what I think it is. But it starts with a G. It is interesting. I've just realized they never went into Raphael's backstory like they did in the book. He's also, excuse me, he's also not wearing his gold cross. That reaction says recovering alcoholic, but I don't remember that being a character thing. Yep. You'd really think they'd take note of that on Clary's phone, considering how many times they shot it. But that's an incoming call screen. Because that's not what's shown on the other times they show phones in this. Alec put himself in this. A lot of terrible things have been done by people who were just under orders. I haven't thought to look, but the younger ones, did they put contacts in his eyes to match Dominic's? Hmm. I wonder, is this going to be an introduction of a certain character, or I laughed at that because she did actually get him coming out to your parent brochures when she was suggesting that in the book. I'll clean you up in a minute. Kanari Sene. You're really gonna shift in the middle of a hospital. Well, that's... Are you at least gonna pocket her Stella? You're doing that without any of your runes. Could have at least asked for an Aratsi or... That's Raj, isn't it? Hmm. How's this gonna go? I mean, they do need to get him back for eventual stuff to happen. Waking Cinderella with True Love's kid? Sleeping Beauty, I mean. Magnus, you may be a romantic at heart, but even you knew that wouldn't work. Now I know this doesn't actually matter considering this show has ended and there's no plans of anything else. Nothing else is going to be planned. But aging the characters up does cause an issue with this as well because eventually Clary gets a Parabatai and the runes can't be applied past a certain age without risk. And Clary has only gained special favor because of her like actions throughout this entire thing. That's the only reason she's able to get one when she's above the age. Now add another couple years on top of that. There's no way she would be able to hold those runes. Well, I'm gonna leave that thought up there. Those who know, but hmm. He did let that idea slip. Oh, that's. I can't actually remember if that's necessary for. I don't think so. No. The scene I'm thinking of, I'm actually confusing with Buffy. the vampires in this, they don't need um what's it called, permission to enter a home. Though I guess we've never really seen it tested. I mean, by creed, you should be able to call an order and they can't disobey. Yeah, electrum, composite of gold and silver. Silver, notably toxic to werewolves. You know, when I saw the thumbnail for this episode, I was expecting a lot more interspersed with the past. Thou shalt bury. You know, there is something very Wiccan in that chant. Even ending with a so mote it be. Or the equivalent. Then again, if you actually look at the old stuff, there is a lot of Wiccan similarities in the Bible. Can we just have one moment? This is at the end? Yep. I mean, to be fair, the City of Bones is the best place for him because, well, it has the mortal sword and everything. And they can just force him to hold it, in which case he'll be able to say, hey, here's everything that actually happened. Now, there's still the probability that Older Tree will not believe it or will spin it in some way to serve his goal. The problem is, if this follows the book timeline, which it would be foolish not to, because otherwise that is a massive plot hole. Something that I've already mentioned will happen to cause that to not be able to happen. Now again, this whole episode never happened. They didn't make it to the boat until the end of book 2. So the whole him being there, him helping Valentine with things, getting Gretel and everything didn't happen. Gretel was already dead at this point. There was no pack hunting him down or anything. Maya didn't show up until, what was it? Was she book 3 or 4? Because I know Maureen was Fallen Angels, which is 4. Right? Yeah. She was in Fallen Angels. So, book 3 is when Maureen showed up. Book 4, yeah. Maya. I'm not sure if that's Google Smart Search or if I have searched her up before, but she, when I just typed in Maya, it came up with. No, it says. So she was book 3. Right, that's how it was introduced and everything. Um, there was the body found outside the Hunter's Moon when Jace was in there getting drunk with the fight, and that is when it's revealed that, hey, Magnus is sitting in the back. He comes up and, right, I forgot there was actually a dead werewolf drained of blood for Valentine's purpose, because there wasn't this whole demonic murder spree and everything, draining everyone for their blood so they can plunge the company in to, like, create new Shadowhunters. Because it's never really clear how the Mortal Cup works. Because, like, back when the first Shadowhunters were created, Raziel added his blood and human blood into the cup, which mixed together and allowed anyone who drank from it, if properly prepared, to turn into a Shadowhunter. There's no way to synthesize angel blood or anything, especially not with what seemed to be a whole bunch of mundane blood, so I don't know what that whole vat of blood from the last season was. I've had issues with that the entire time. But he was draining downworlders of their blood. Specifically, he wanted one of each type for a specific reason that I'm not going to get into in case they do get into it here. But, yeah. But that is why he needs to do things that have yet to happen and may still happen. Yeah. Anyway, this whole episode didn't happen. It was nice to see the Parabatai ritual actually happen in, like, the original series, because we only ever really heard about it. It's expanded upon in both the Infernal Devices and in, what's it called? Dark Artifices. That's it. I forgot the name of the sequel series. It's expanded upon it in there. We actually get the full oath in the Infernal Devices. And then she later goes on to add it in with the main characters of the Dark Artifices and all of that. But we never actually got the Parabatai ritual in the first series. Now, yes, of course, even when they're pulling something straight from the books, they've got to do something different, because initially it's standing in two separate rings of fire, and then once the oath is done, they pass through the flames to then join hands and rune each other. Here, they're just in the center of a larger ring of fire, and it seems, it's hard to tell whether they already have the runes inked on them and the oath is just there to, like, activate them, sort of like pairing them together, like Bluetooth and that, or if them saying the oath in this ritual is what caused the marks to appear. Because there is always something special about the Parabatai bond compared to all other runes. And yes, I guess that does also go into something that I should not know of, but because of my inability to leave things lie and liking to delve into wikis and that, I know of something that happens at the end of the Dark Artifices, which I have just started reading, that is related to Parabatais. So, could very well be that there's a different way for them to get the runes and everything. Yeah. Anyway, I get, with that being said, I'll say it again. This show is nowhere near as bad as what I was expecting from what I had heard. Now, yes, I guess the thing is, my dad is more a stickler for keeping things towards the original as possible when it comes to adaptations. I'm there for some things too, but this has created its own interesting story while weaving in enough elements of the book to keep me like this is the same. Maybe not the same universe, but the rules of both apply. Sort of like this is a alternate dimension, I guess. Like you've got the book dimension, you've got this dimension in a multiverse. Because guess what? Shadowhunters does canonically have a multiverse. I'm just gonna say it. We've seen it in the show already with the two dimensions. It goes even further in the books. So, yeah, why not? Let's just say this is a completely different iteration of the Earth in a massive multiverse. And that just explains all of the differences while keeping the same overall rules and everything. That's a good way to think about it. And with that note, I'm just gonna say I'll catch you in the next one.